Lacrosse community, my name's Ryan Berns. I'm the founder of the Lacrosse Leadership Institute. It's our mission to empower all those that love lacrosse, to recognize the skills you gain from the sport, to ultimately live your best life possible. Today, we're so fortunate to be joined by Kris Alleyne. He's ultimately played lacrosse at the highest levels with Rutgers. He's gotten to play internationally against Team Japan, and now is coaching with Robert Morris University. Kris, we're so grateful to have you a part of our conversation today. For our community that isn't quite aware of your story, can you share how you found lacrosse in the first place and where that journey is ultimately taking you?
Yeah, for sure. So first and foremost, really happy to be here and get a chance to talk with you. My journey started. I was born in New York, and we lived in Brooklyn until I was about 7 or 8 years old. But my older brother Ryan kind of found the sport randomly watching TV. I think it was like a Hofstra Brown game back on the AstroTurf that Hofstra used to have, and he just saw it and was like, "This is pretty cool." Played like roller hockey, played some ice hockey growing up, so he was always kind of into stick sports. So when we ended up moving up to Rockland County, he went to Clarkstown North. I ended up going to Clarkstown South a little bit down the line, but he picked up a stick and never looked back. So kind of just followed Big Bro's footsteps. It was just kind of how I was as a kid. So he got me into it and never looked back.
I love when we hear the story of family bringing us involved with lacrosse, because I think it is a communal sport, whether it's your family or friends. I know we brought Jeff Ramos on, and that's how we got connected. Can you share about some of your early coaches or that experience going from the first time of youth lacrosse through high school, through college? How was that for you?
No, for sure. So like I mentioned, I was fortunate enough to move up to the suburbs where lacrosse was a little more accessible at that point. So I got started in about fourth grade with the Clarkstown Patriots, which Jeff and Brian Foley was one of my good friends growing up. His father got it started up, and I signed up and started playing. And to anyone who's ever met me or heard me talk about my first couple of days playing, I was fully set to play attack. That was kind of what I wanted to do. I had the gear ready to do it. And when it came to needing a goalie, kind of like how everyone gets thrown into the cage, it's, hey, my older brother shot on me before, and I'll give it a try, and ended up working out. So I got started in the cage on pretty much day one, and never really thought much of it again. It's kind of funny how it went full circle. But Jeff, I've known pretty much at this point entire life. He's a great mentor, great person to learn from. So big shout out to Jeff if you're watching. He's been a big part of my journey, and a great person I could call a friend today.
Oh, awesome. I think that shows just what type of team player you are as well. If you're willing to step up in goal, just biggest props to all the goalies out there. When you look at your lacrosse career, do you have a pinnacle moment, or are there a couple moments that really stick out to you?
Yeah, for sure. I think just being able to play get some of the opportunities that I had throughout high school and through middle school, getting a chance to realize that I might be able to play at the next level. So I would say probably the biggest one at that point was being named an All-American out of my high school. I was only the third one in school history, for lacrosse. So it was pretty cool for me, from being from Rockland County, the other side of the river, with Westchester being kind of the big brother there. So I took a lot of pride in that, and being able to go off and play at the Division I level was a goal I had. So being able to go down the road and go play at Rutgers was something that, I hold really near and dear. And, Rutgers is actually playing Illinois, big game tonight. So, big shout out to the Knights. But, after that, just being able to go play in the MLL for a couple of years and coach internationally. And like you mentioned at the headway here, I've played internationally with playing in an all-star game over in Japan a couple of years ago. So I'm just incredibly thankful that, this game has given me the opportunity to travel, to meet people, to play at stages that I never thought I would as a kid. So it's just been really awesome, and kind of getting those opportunities and making the most of them.
Oh, so much great to unpack in there, Kris, in terms of being grateful for the opportunities and ultimately executing there and showing up. But it starts young and playing time and time again. What do you attest to your success or your ability to play at that next level? If you're talking to a youth player right now or a high school player, what should they be focusing on?
So I think that's kind of two-sided. So you said what how it got me there. it's my family, like 100%. My brother, he's 10 years older than me, so he was kind of that mixed bag of needing to be the crack the whip and be a little bit, stern at times, but he was also my best friend and being able to coach me and shoot on me and get me reps whenever, that was the one thing as a goalie. It's not like shooting or doing wall ball where you can do on your own. You kind of need someone else there. So he was always there for me, and up until I left for college. So I owe him the world for that, and my mom being able to drive me and take off work and weekends, far away from home. So I would say the big thing is for all the kids out there is to make sure you're grateful and understanding what your parents and families are giving up, especially in the middle of the summer when they could be on vacation. So definitely take the time to thank them. But I think from a work ethic standpoint, that kind of goes back to my family as well. My mom was a single parent, and just being able to see how hard she worked. So for me, that was something that I took very seriously with everything I did, whether it was the classroom or on the field. So just being able to work as hard as I could. And when it came to lacrosse, it's something I love to do. And that's the biggest thing. It was never a job to me. It was never, I got to go to practice. I loved it. So it's just being able to make the most out of it. There's going to be days where obviously, I'd be a liar to say that there were days where practice was tough and I was tired, but being able to push through it and know that it's all part of the process and a purpose at the end of the, light at the end of the tunnel.
It's you can sense the passion that you have, Kris, for the game, and also having that parental support from your mom and from your brother, showing you what hard work looks like, showing up time and time again. And I think that's big. Whatever is meant to happen is going to happen, and we're going to face our own adversity, our challenges, but we can control our attitude and our efforts. That's what we say all the time, and
every day.
Like you've been able to focus on yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Kris, goalie's known for being the leader on the defense, and now you're the defensive coordinator at Robert Morris, right?
Yep.
What's your definition of leadership, or how do the best leaders ultimately get a team to circle around them and create success?
I think leadership, you kind of touched on it there, just the ability to show up every day. Because the best leaders that I've ever been around, whether it's been teammates, coaches, people I've worked with, or, just people I've watched on TV in sports or in business or anything, it's the people that consistently do the little things when no one's looking, and the ability to just be consistent with those things. So if it means waking up early to get something done or staying late to get something done, that's just part of your DNA and how you operate. So for me, the best leaders are the guys guys or girls that are able to do that on a daily basis and not, find shortcuts or find excuses, is just to do the work and get it done. I'm lucky enough that I've had some unbelievable leaders and mentors over the years in all different walks of life. And the biggest thing that I can say that I take away from them is that, it's all for a purpose. It's not just, oh, I'm going to do this today, and, that's just because it's what I have to do. It's because, hey, if it's going to practice, it's because it's going to get us better. Or if it's, those tough workouts that you got to do in the preseason, it's because it's going to make me, a better, more explosive athlete, or it's going to keep me healthy. Or if it's studying, it's something that gets overlooked sometimes, but it's not just studying just to get that grade, it's studying to learn and to apply those things and not, be super hard-headed, as my mom would say, and being able to be, a better person for it. So that's kind of my definition of leadership.
It's huge. That consistency is so big. You want someone who is even keel when emotions are running high. And we know when in a game, those emotions can really be going all over the place. We've got the highs, we've got the lows, all in betweens, but finding someone who's steady, will do the little things, pick up that right GB, put the stick in their outside hand, find the right guy, ultimately makes a big difference in a game. And we see that relate to life. How has lacrosse affected your life, or what skills have you brought from lacrosse that you've been implementing in your life today?
Yeah, 100%. That's something that we, as a coach, and I would say most coaches probably stress, is that, while it is a game, you're going to learn lessons from it. And something that my old boss and good friend of mine over at Canisius, Mark Miyashita, is something that he would always harp on, is that we're, at the end of the day, educators. We just get a very different classroom. So that's kind of the biggest thing for me, is just being able to understand of what we do and how the influence that we have. So, from a coaching standpoint, it's something that I feel strongly about, and being able to, bring the most out of everyone, and being able to find a way to push them and, show them that it's something that's going to help you at the next level. So for me, the work ethic piece that we touched on, and being able to show up and work your butt off when it's a little bit tough is something that applies, because at the end of the day, making a save or sliding to someone dodging downhill is going to be more fun and a little bit easier than it's going to be with life when, you get fired from a job, or, you have a tough breakup, or, things just aren't going your way. The lessons that you learn from a game at the end of the day are going to help you kind of mold your life. And for me, I take more than one lesson that I learned at my time at Rutgers, and was able to apply it, because there were times when we weren't very good. We didn't win a lot of games my freshman year. And just being able to know that it's all part of the process, and being able to learn from it, and being able to push myself to the highest level that I possibly could, made it that much easier when I did work in the real world and I didn't enjoy it. But it's like, hey, I need to show up to work. It's what I signed up for. I have a contract that I signed. So it's just being able to understand that, there's a purpose to everything that we do.
And we have to be responsible. We know on the lacrosse field, we're responsible for our slides. We're responsible for communicating. We're responsible for so many things. And like you said, in the work world, you're responsible for your contract. You have to do what you say you're going to do. And that's integrity. You said it earlier. It's the best leaders do what they need to, and no one's watching. Okay. And when you have that work ethic, you can do it consistently, time and time again. You get better and you get better. I think for me, the best leaders are able to take out from their teammates more potential than those teammates ever saw. And you mentioned that as well. So I think that's big, Kris, and that shows that you're a really adept leader, and it seems like you're probably working pretty hard to be a better leader. What do you do right now to become a better leader or coach? What resources are you using?
Yeah, so I know most people aren't going to love this answer, but I have so many things on social media that I follow, whether it's coaches or different leadership accounts, or I should say leadership accounts, but accounts that have quotes or videos or teaching points, and just being able to learn from everyone else, because I think it's pretty clear that coaching and being a leader it has a science aspect to it, but it isn't necessarily a science. It's all learning from other people, so I think just being able to learn from people that are smarter or have done this a little bit longer than me is something that I really like to lean on. So being able to see a clip from Nick Saban, or Nikki Johnson, or someone like that, and just seeing their stories and their experiences, and being able to talk about it, I think it's easier to to apply to your own life, because the big thing for me is that I'm not necessarily the biggest yeller when I coach. It's something that I've never really had. Even as a teammate, like I would get on guys and push them to be better, but I don't think I was ever a big yeller. And part of that for me is because I think a lot of leadership is being able to build those relationships so that you can get more out of people. And just being able to know what makes them tick. So, it's just one of those things where, if you show someone how much you care about them, it's going to be a lot easier to get them to work harder. So that's just kind of my whole 2 cents on it.
Yeah. People don't care about you unless you show you care. Yeah. They know how much you care about them. And that's how relationships are made. And I think you hit the nail on the head when we talk about the best leaders have those relationships. They know how to communicate with their teammates. They understand if someone's going through a tough time, how to respond, how to act, how to help lift them up, because ultimately that's what we need. We have this brotherly love, if you will, and we want to be here for one another.
100%.
Now, Kris, when you're looking towards the future now, what are some of the goals that you have or ambitions that you have for yourself or for your team?
Yeah, so being able to be at Robert Morris now, I've been here a couple months, so it was a little bit of a coaching change in the last couple of years. But the goal every year is to push yourself and being able to improve as an individual, and then with that, being able to push the group and grow them as well. So I think the biggest thing in year one with a whole new coaching staff is just being able to to get the most out of our guys, both as, students and as athletes. So being able to get them working hard in the classroom, in the weight room, and on the field, and all those things, because just based on my couple of years of experience, you see the guys that are able to put those things together pretty quickly are the ones who usually are pretty successful. So it's just being able to make them well-rounded and understanding that it's not just lacrosse when you come to school. So just being able to make them complete and better leaders, better people. But anyone who knows me knows I'm a pretty big competitor. So just being able to win games and play in throughout the month of May is a goal of mine. So as a player, I unfortunately never got to the NCAA tournament. So that's my goal every year, is just to be able to get to the month of May, play some meaningful games, and being able to keep going through the calendar as long as you possibly can.
Oh, well, definitely best of luck getting there. I know that's what everyone chases for, and you've gotten experiences in the lacrosse world that many can't claim for their own. So it's amazing. And you still have those goals to go chase after. And we know you'll work hard for those. One of the things, though, that I like hearing is that you are such a competitor and you're showing up time and time again for the team, but you want them to be more than just players. You want them to be studious. You want them to be doing other parts of life well. And we say, how you do something's how you do everything. So if you're able to get good grades, you're able to take care of your health, your relationships, means on the lacrosse field, you'll probably do pretty well as well. And I think that's a big thing that I took away from the sport, was when you can find balance, when you can find the time management, when you can focus on priorities or what's really most important, that's when you see a lot of success. How do you go about prioritizing your life, Kris, or your days? What does that hierarchy look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm if you saw my Google Calendar, you'd probably throw up. Like I need to regiment my day, or else I go off the rails. So I'm pretty much, I wouldn't say I'm super like strict with it, but I do like to get a couple of things done throughout the day, and just being able to know that I checked off something on my checklist, and don't push it off till the next day. So from any given day, especially while we're in season right now, it's just being able to wake up, have a cup of coffee, walk my dog. She's sleeping at my feet right now, but those are just some things that I need to do every day to just kind of get myself ready for the day. And then, just being able to listen to some music on my way in. And then from there, it's, meetings, film, going out to practice, meeting with some of the guys, doing some extra film, whatever it is on that given day. But I'm very regimented in the sense that I need to know that what I have on my list is done and being able to be checked off. That's just how I kind of always been. And then I do, unfortunately, like everyone, get to procrastinate at times, and, have to scramble, and everyone has those moments when they work best under pressure, and I try to avoid those best I can. But I do definitely regiment my day so that I'm on top of everything.
Oh, Kris, thanks for sharing that, because I think as you go up in terms of commitment to the sport, there's more and more tasks that are thrown at you, and you have to find ways to be able to do it all, because it can be done. And you're a testament that it can be done. There's so many others out there that are a testament that you can do it all. It's hard. It's tough. You sometimes have the heart racing when you have an assignment due or something due in a little bit of time, but it can be done. And it's great to hear that perspective from you. As we wrap up this conversation, Kris, do you have any last thoughts on lacrosse or leadership that you can share with our community?
I think just from a lacrosse standpoint, just being able to understand that they call it the medicine game. It's comes from a rich history. It's just being able to appreciate that. Being able to learn from the history of this sport and seeing the applications and how much it means to the Native American people who brought it to us. And that's something that I really try to bring to the forefront, because I do think that our sport is pretty unique in the sense that it's pretty relationship driven, and you never know who you're going to run into. Just from my experiences, some of the people that I've been able to coach against, play against, and meet over the years are some people that I looked up to, as a kid. So I think, just being able to appreciate everything that we have, and, understand that it's a privilege to play this game and play, whether at whatever level it is. So don't just go chasing, what looks cool, but just being able to do, what's in front of you and enjoy it, and do it with the people that are with you, that you like to be around.
Oh my gosh, Kris, thanks for ending at that point. I think it's so important that we are grateful every single day. I'm so grateful that you took the time to share your experience with lacrosse and leadership with you. We're excited to cheer you on moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.